حياكم الله في مشوار جديد. مشوارنا اليوم مع مبدأ التبسيط minimalism. ضيفنا اليوم كان اسمه كاي، ألماني الجنسية، فالمقابلة راح تكون بالإنجليزي. كان فيها أفكار كثيرة ملهمة ومثيرة للاهتمام، وكل شخص راح يسمع المقابلة بيقدر ياخذ خطوة أو خطوتين عمليتين يقدر يسويهم في حياته. يلا نبدأ. Hi, I was reading a bit about you and I was looking in your social media accounts, and it seems like you have so many different interests. Your background is in design and as an architect, and I see you have interests in waste management and resource management and efficiency and AI, and tell me more.
These are all things which are surrounding us, you know. So a lot of people, they ask me, oh, how come you are into environment? Then I ask them to rephrase the question. It should be why you are not into environment, because the nature or the environment is providing us with all what we need. And the rest comes with a normal development of the society throughout the different kind of years and decades, because we never stop learning. So we are never finished. So we need to have always an open eye on whatever comes new as technology, as evolvement when it comes to social media. Yeah. When I was young, there was no social media, obviously, but we need to get engaged with this one to cope up as well with the development. And I know people who are very resistant from the beginning, and now they are lacking because, of course, the world is turning and developing. If you like it or not, you have to comply, you know, otherwise you fall behind. And then it's a big issue for themselves, you know, not for the society, but for themselves. And if you fall behind, you're feeling, let's say, outdated, left alone, left behind. It's a problem then for yourself, you know.
It is. So if you had a background in architecture, do you still work in that, or you've left that a bit and you're more focused in environmental related topics now?
No, still I'm into architecture, project management, which is also related again to waste management, because construction waste is a big topic anywhere in the world. And this is the thing where actually efficiency is very key. So if you do a proper design review, you make the room sizes, the room spaces more efficient, reducing, because there's a vast majority of the areas which are just extreme size-wise, which is not really required. And therefore, as well, there's a connection between architecture, environment, green housing, green building council, green building regulations, all these kind of stuff. They play a certain role within the society. And when we had got, for example, Corona, how many people were suddenly not happy with their house, and they started renovating, oh, I want to go out, which means there was maybe a wrong design, a wrong briefing, a wrong usage of the houses at that time, because actually you said, usually my home is my castle, which you don't want to leave. But during Corona, the people feel consigned, which felt for me as an architect very strange. I was quite relaxed at home, you know, quiet, doing home study, homework, working from home, studying and these things. So this was an aspect where I felt maybe also we need to rethink about architectural design. And on the other hand, when I'm doing some lectures in the university, I tell them, or I ask them the question, what was the first thing the people asked when Corona started? Mm-hmm. And it was just two words, stay home. And who builds homes? The architects. Yes. Without literally architects, there will be no hospital, no school, no home. Yeah. So we have a quite big role, which still is a kind of underestimated, what I feel. Just not only providing shelter, but rather comfort and sustainable living. Sure. When it comes to the operation within the house, you know. Sure. Overusage of AC, overusage of lighting, spaces and these things. So all this can be reduced. And then we are in the resource management or material resource management, where we have to be very mindful with our resources, because there is the World Overshoot Day. Maybe you heard about this one. This is a day which actually is calculated based on the resources the world is providing to humanity And the date is actually when we are already used all the resources which are dedicated for 1 year. And now this year, the World Overshoot Day is 27th of July. So literally after 27th of July, we are already using the resources which are dedicated for the next year.
Okay, that's really interesting and scary at the same time.
Yes, and now you will not believe, but the World Overshoot Day for Bahrain is already past. It was, I think, maybe mid of March or something like this.
So we've consumed the resources of 1 year in 3 months.
Yes, something like this.
That's actually very, very scary.
It is.
It's very scary to know. I find it really interesting, Kai, that you've linked your experience in design and architecture and with your passion in environment, sustainability, and so on. I find it really interesting that you found this link, and now you're doing something that you're really good at and you're really passionate at. I find this really, really interesting.
Yeah, I mention to the people always when they ask me, Kai, what do you work? I tell them I don't work. They said, how this is possible? I tell them I do what I like and get paid for it. So this is like a good thing, literally.
Yes,
so
of
you
course.
are always eager to do things. Of course, we have to deal with different kind of characters and human beings.
But this is part of any job or anything you do.
Exactly. So, but we try to literally enjoy what we are doing, and this is the main thing. Once, I deal with people who are a little bit resistant and not willing to learn. I'm very straightforward with them, which they don't like, obviously. But at the end, why I should waste my time, again, which is efficiency. Wasting time is the same resource, time, material, energy, money. Though there's a lot of definition what can be wasted. And that's why also I actually try to avoid the word waste, because it's actually valuable material. Anything, not only haptic things, is a valuable material, you know.
So I've also read that you're the CEO and founder of Waste. So it's spelled in a very unique way. So can you tell us a bit more about this company that you've established, or?
Yeah, actually, this is more than an initiative. And since, as I said, waste is a general material, or whatever we call the resource demanding, what the human is needing, or let's say remains after human usage, still there is value. And since AI plays a more and more bigger role, and there's also some companies who are actually using AI for the segregation to get more pure non-virgin material for recycling, for reusage, to get new material. Like in Germany, we have 70% of the glasses are used in new glass bottles. So these are a big aspects. Once you have a more purity of the used material, then of course the quality of the secondary product will be much better. So that's why I always also mention why AI was created, because HI is not enough, which is a human intelligence. We are creating a lot of problems which AI might help us to solve. And
okay.
The human itself literally is a kind of weakest link, because obviously we do mistake as a human, which is very natural. And AI, based on the data, they are mitigating these kind of mistakes. And this is related to the waste management, for example, or the segregation, that it's better for the humans to keep it simple for them, like what we do in Ras Al Khaimah, and in Germany they were proposing it to just segregate the wet waste and the dry waste, because this is a very easy task, and then all the dry waste gets sorted by AI.
Okay, so it's very interesting. It has a lot of technology into really helping us solve the issues that humans are basically causing by all of the waste that we have generated.
Yes, definitely.
That's
and the most thing would be as well, from the beginning, a reduction of what we are producing as a remains. So we should be more mindful and more minimalistic, let's say like this, focusing on what we need rather than what we want. And I'm doing also some presentations on minimalism, mindful behavior. So the people are quite, let's say, surprised what we actually want and what we really need for living.
So now that you've started talking about minimalism, today we really want to hear more about that from you. So tell us more for the listeners that don't really know what that term is. It's very popular now, so many people are talking about it, but we want to know, what is that concept from your point of view? What is minimalism?
Yeah, minimalism is like working or living on a very not really reduced lifestyle, but focusing on what we need. And when I do sometimes presentations, I explain to the people, you make a square of 2 by 2 meter on the floor, and you divide it into 4 squares, each 1 square meter. And in the first square, you put all the things you did not touch for 1 year.
Okay.
And then the second one, what you didn't touch for 1 month. Then the third one, what you didn't touch for 1 week. And the other one, what you touch literally daily. And all what you keep in the first square, what you didn't touch for 1 year, it's actually not required for your life. So you can either donate it, resell it, give it away, or whatever. Or in the future, don't spend money on the items. Because the one presentation I did is focusing on 3 items, on food waste or oversupply of food, then the oversupply in fashion, and the other one with the electrical items, like our devices. So, and what we really, really need is very, very little. Because why the shop need to be full of food always? Just to give us choices, and what we take from there is just a fraction, you know. And also the people need to understand that if something is not 24 hours, monthly or annually available, we have specific seasons. The nature gave us seasons for strawberries, for cherries, for mangoes, for whatever, you know. So we need actually align ourselves with what nature is providing in order to reduce our impact. And same when it comes to, with all my respect, your wardrobe. Most likely will open it and there will be, I don't know how many pairs of shoes, how many dresses, which you did not wear for maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Literally, you're spending money to the shop to store their items in your wardrobe, which is not a nice thing. Better to spend your money on experience. You know, you go for a dinner, you go for a fun park, cinema, or whatever, to create memories rather than items you have to store. And same applies literally to the devices or electrical items. In every room there is a TV. Okay, for what? This is just for your, I don't know, convenience, but it's an oversupply, you know. And in my flat, for example, I have only 1 waste bin, which is in the kitchen. So if I have some little stuff in the living room, okay, I walk inside the kitchen. I'm saving a lot of operation cost, literally with the bin liner and you know, the maintenance cost and these things. I have only 1 bin instead of 10 bins. So I'm cutting down the cost for the bins by 90%. You know, and once you have bigger facilities like offices or schools, you can save a lot of initial money for these items which you not really require, because shift the responsibility to different kind of employees, students, and these things. And then as well, the operation cost will be reduced. You know, instead of throwing every day, I don't know, 50 bin liners with some waste inside, you have maybe 1 only. And the facility management guy is only taking 1 instead of going and checking all the 50 bins. Yeah. So it's quite interesting once you check by yourself what you really need and what little effort can be done from your side, which is not a big effort, but it will save you actually a lot of money. And this is where the catching point is for the people. Minimalistic lifestyle is saving you money. So that people are very surprised, you know.
I think you've just explained a very interesting cycle. It comes from what is provided in the shops, the supermarkets giving you so many options, the fast fashion. You have so many options of clothing and fashion that at very cheap prices, people are more tempted to buy. So many offerings in the market, people are more tempted to buy. They bring it home, they'll just store it, most probably not use it as much as they expected they would use it. And then you have so much space wasted at home. And then you have so much waste coming out of that. And as you said, you've spent money. So having that minimalistic thought before buying or before consuming really saves you money and saves you space, saves you reduces your environmental impact on the long run.
Yes.
So I think it's a very interesting cycle that you've explained.
Yes. Yeah, and on the other aspect, the people always think, okay, being minimalistic means, oh, let's go back to the caves. No AC, no lighting, whatever. But this is not true. It's just cutting actually the oversupply, what we have. And this is very interesting. Like in each building you come, there is an oversupply of lights. Because, oh, it looks nice and this kind of stuff. But is it really required? Are the customer really literally appreciating it, even recognizing it? Most likely no.
They don't see it. It's always there.
And I tell the people also, I have in my flat, I have 0 energy bulbs. And then they get a little bit surprised. What can this be?
What does that mean?
Yes, but literally they don't exist. So I just remove in the corridor, for example, out of the 12 spotlights, I removed 6. Okay. So I'm cutting down the cost by 50% in the corridor. I don't lose any comfort. So what is the point of this oversupply? I don't miss it. And this is a very important aspect, that you will not lose comfort. You will not shrink down, maybe a little on your comfort, but the impact is much more higher. So, and then again, if we're talking about the effort and ratio, like return of investment,
yes.
So you do a little investment from your side, maybe compromising a little bit your comfort, yes. But the saving is bigger. So then it's like actually a very good business model, So the return on investment is quite good.
I think it's very interesting, Kai, the way you put it, when you say you put a little bit of effort, and that effort, for example, when you remove the light bulbs, it's not an effort that costs you money, and it's not an effort that will really, as you said, go back to the caves where you live with no lights. You have enough lights, you have enough comfort, you can see what's going on around you, but you've reduced a bit of the comfort that you used to have just to have a better impact on the environment. I think this is a very interesting formula if everybody really thinks about it, consciously thinks about it. And with these little initiatives or little actions that we do, so a bigger impact would happen to the environment. I think so many people might think, what would this one light bulb really do? But if everybody thinks that, nobody will do anything.
Yes.
But if someone would actually say, I think these 3 light bulbs would actually make a difference, and then your neighbor would say the same, and your cousin would say the same, that would really, really make an impact.
Yes. And it was actually very interesting when IWA raised the fees, and there was as well a kind of top line of, I think, 5,000 kilowatt per month per flat. Mm-hmm. And once this was imposed, out of a sudden, there was a 30% less demand in electricity required in Bahrain. So, which means it was not really required. Yes, exactly. And imagine you can save 30%. I give the people sometimes a sample how much my IWA bill was last December. And then the people are guessing, okay, I have a 3 bedroom apartment. So they said, 50 BD, 100 BD, 120 BD. I said, no, it was only 8 BD.
That's interesting.
And you have 1 BD, the base fee.
Yeah.
So 2 BD was, I think, for the water, and 5 BD electricity. Because when I'm not in the house, all the lights are off, all the ACs are off. I'm putting light only in the room where I am. People come up, and this was also a very interesting question from the university students for the smart houses, because the smart devices are so expensive and these things. Mm-hmm. I told them, you have a smart home if you have a smart landlord or a smart tenant. Because when you leave a room, you switch off the lights. You don't need even anything like programming and these kind of stuff.
This is the smartest way to live, basically. You don't need smart devices to close the lights for you.
Yeah, exactly. And it was very interesting. There was also some smart devices built in the German embassy in 2011, where I found it not required. Motion sensors to switch off the light automatically. Okay, go out from the room, switch off the light. Very simple. And security is anyhow coming at 7, 8 o'clock or to check. That's it, you know. So there's a lot of things where we need actually the tenant or the landlord to be smart rather than smart devices, smart cars, smart cities, whatever we have. If we are not the smartest one, then there is actually also a gap between the technology and the human being again.
That's very interesting. Few things that I wanted to bring for us to discuss. Now, you've been in Bahrain for the past 15, 16 years. I think you know a bit about the culture of Bahrain. Now, if we want to put this concept that you've explained a bit more into context, lots of Bahrainis live in houses with extended families. So there are so many people living in one house, let's say apartment-style houses. So many people are living together. How can I want an advice from you? How can such a family dynamic really adopt the concept of minimalism? I find it a bit difficult, but maybe there is an idea that you can share with us that we can really use and it would work for this culture.
Yeah, definitely. This is an interesting topic and an interesting question, specifically with my experience here. I feel that this overconsumption, the driving of overconsumption, and of course, we want always to spoil our kids and these kind of stuff. And this reflects actually on the topic when the people asking me, okay, Kai, you should go to schools, university, kindergarten to teach them. I said, no, the teaching need to be done for the adults, for the money holders, for the decision makers. Because it's very interesting, like when you go to the supermarkets with your kids, you will find at the cashier the sweets and these kind of stuff. And there the parents always say, no, don't touch and these things. As soon as they leave and the packer is there, the packer puts one item in one bag, and these things. There is no from the parents. So you are accepting already the, let's say, waste, the single use, just there's no communication. And this is a big topic or a big aspect as well. There need to be a right communication between the supplier, of course he wants to sell, and the customer. And the customer education here is a very big topic because you have the power, because you have the money, and the companies, they want your money, they want your best. So if you as a customer are more educated or more knowledgeable, and just one part of minimalism is just to say no to some items. You know, sometimes you get gifts. I said, no, I don't need anything because I have everything. You give me another block, another pencil, another watch. What I will do with this? You know, again, coming back, what is required? And since now also the prices are rising, I, for myself, since the last 3, 4, 5 years, I'm going always to the central market with my reusable bags. I go usually Thursdays 2 to 3 o'clock or at the end of the business time. So the stuff gets even cheaper. Sometimes there is stuff they want to throw away. I take it for free. And also, when it comes to this expire date, I mean, this is purely dedicated from the industry. You know, expire date or passing the expire date doesn't mean the product becomes deadly. So it means actually in Germany, we have the saying or the wording, guaranteed date of 100% freshness.
So it's not expiry date. It's
no,
basically not as fresh as
exactly.
It should be.
Yeah. And the thing is, okay, an apple who does not have a watch, obviously, milk doesn't have a watch, cucumber doesn't have a watch. So these products, they don't know, the expire date is reached, you know. And on the other hand, it's also an aspect of how you store your stuff, you know. And this might be good because from our side, we have the experience from our parents and grandparents from the war and these things. So we need to store things for be goods for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 1 year, you know. And when you literally check on these items, you will not find that, now it's expired, I have to throw it, you know. And this is just, you try it. And as a little bit weird example, maybe, I had in my fridge in 2019, I had yogurt from 2017. And the people said, oh, very bad, very bad. But no, actually, yogurt is already expired milk. Yeah. So when I opened it, it was still okay. I try it and it's still okay.
And you are still okay.
Yeah. I have no impact, you know.
Okay.
And by the way, I mean, we need to have always some bad viruses also inside. You know, we cannot live in a sterile world, like in the hospital where you have really open heart surgery where everything needs to be 100% clean, you know. And I asked the people as well, when we were young, we're playing in the sandpit, we eat mud, right? We eat maybe even worms, or I don't know what is there. Nobody died from this one, and nobody get a bad impact from this one, because we are not living in a clean, sterile environment. There's dust everywhere, there's dirt everywhere, and this will help as well to make us stronger.
Your immunity would become stronger.
Yes. Remember when Corona started? Suddenly everybody is running into Fair Corniche. Oh, they're buying orange juice and vitamin C and these things. I said, it's not that it comes in 1-2 weeks or something like this.
It's something you build up, basically.
It's your lifestyle, and that's why minimalism is actually a lifestyle which can be embedded, because if you say, listen, you will save money, oh, let's go and save money, you know, and very simple, and not get all the things thrown at you, you know, which is very, very simple, just to say no. Same what you say to your kids at the sweet edge at the cashier.
I read a bit about minimalism few months back, I think. And what struck me is that so many people were saying it's about the number of items you have. But now, like, you should have not more than a certain number of items. So now the way you explain it, it's more of a lifestyle. It's not about the number of items that you have. If you have more, you need to throw everything beyond that number. It's basically how you live, how you raise your kids to live, and to basically show them this is, if you need it, then you have it. If you want it, then you need to really consider if you really need it, if it will fall in that box of one week usage, 1 day usage, or 1 month usage. So I think it's very interesting. You said something about, when we had a casual conversation before, about how minimalism have to do with mindfulness.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, this is, as mentioned, a lifestyle. So you need to reflect by yourself, and how minimalism starts, that you don't let consume things come to your life, because it becomes your responsibility. You know, in the supermarket, very simple, you get 20 plastic bags. Maybe not required at all, because if you take from your side your reusable bag, you will already eliminate these 20 plastic bags from your headache, become a responsibility for you, you know. So there's literally always we need reflect on ourselves what we really, really need. And when we plan, for example, this is another topic, project management is all about planning, and every little task, even in the kitchen, in the household, at home, is a kind of small project where you do kind of planning. And the more proper you plan, the more efficient you will be. You're saving time, you're saving money, you're saving fuel, or whatever. And what is very interesting, when the people, they go shopping, they have, let's go shopping. They take the wallet, they take the key, they take the mobile, they take whatever is required, but one thing they don't usually take with them, which is a bag, which is the most important item, obviously, after the money, to carry the stuff. Oh, I will get it in the shop. But okay, why you take it from there and then you will throw it? So anything that have only a single purpose is actually waste. And on the other hand, if you think about it, why or what does an item make single-use item? They take about the single-use plates, plastic plates. They can be cleaned and reused as well if you are mindful with the items. And on the other hand, get things which are durable. Everybody is striving, okay, we want to have nice durable things, and then we have our beloved trousers, beloved skirts, or whatever. So if we are mindful with them, they can last a lifetime. You know, we have the shoemakers, we have the tailors who can fix things.
So I think it's very nice the way you put it. It's basically, now life is very fast. Everybody wants to have the fast food, the fast fashion, everything to just accommodate this fast life that I'm having. that is impacting the environment, impacting my health, impacting my quality time with my family. Why not break the cycle and really try to really fix the roots and try to have everything healthier, more natural, more original, and then everything will go smoother. I think it's very nice way to put it.
Yeah, and we are connected to our roots. We like our kind of old tradition and these things, and they are step by step vanishing, of course, due to technology and development. But nevertheless, why not come back? As I said, you take your time off, walk in the sea, walk on the shoreline, walk on the sand, which be reconnected with nature. So grounding is one aspect, why we are actually wearing shoes and socks. Our feet are very strong, and if we reconnect with nature, not necessarily with the asphalt, but with the sand and the soil and the grass, and I don't know what roots are there. So it helps as well to stimulate, the food reflection massage, where they press somewhere and suddenly you have an impact on your head. I don't know. But this is also something where we actually get isolated from nature just by wearing shoes, And then, okay, what? And one other aspect which I found at that time with Corona very interesting, that we had to teach the people how to wash their hands, We are so disconnected from life because not everything what we touch is bad, and putting a layer of plastic and 2-3 layers and these things, which was really an impact that showcases how we are even disconnected from our own health and body. Just we put isolation in order for ourselves to be free, whatever we can do. No, where is the mindfulness with ourselves to clean your hand, wash your hands after whatever you touch, and this is very normal, But people, they are kind of collapsing at that time, So.
How do you see it? Do you see lots of people that really came back to nature after Corona, now that they were stuck in home for 2 years, almost 2 years? Do you see that people really came back to nature, or do you see that the disconnection is even more now? How do you see it?
This is actually a good aspect. Some people, they became more mindful due to restriction of space, restriction of resources, and they automatically literally went to a more minimalistic lifestyle, which was quite good. But then obviously after all the restrictions were gone, I think the majority of the people fall back in the old
habits.
They back to normal, but normal was wrong. Yeah. So, but they went unfortunately back to normal, and they still have in their mind, okay, if you still see the people in the restaurants, the waiters, they're all still 90% wearing gloves, which means you have a hygiene problem, not the virus problem.
Yeah.
And this is quite interesting. Before Corona, everybody was using, the stainless steel cutlery and these things. And I'm asking the people, listen, in how many mouths the fork and the spoon was before Corona when you get the stainless steel cutlery on your plate? And now you are so concerned, which means there is a hygiene problem, not about a virus problem. And if you go to a hospital, you will see the hospitals are using for the operation and surgery, they are using stainless steel cutlery, like the scalpel and the needles and these kind of things. Why? Because stainless steel is the most hygienic item we have. It's very easy to clean, very easy to sterilize. So how come, we're going from the best option to single-use plastic? For me, it was very, very strange to see. And even I see people, waiters are having the gloves and they're sanitizing the gloves. Okay, just be normal. There was a test done in Singapore where they had two ladies going shopping, the one with gloves and the one without gloves. And the person who spread the virus more was the one with the gloves because she felt secure. And she's touching the food here and here, the handle and all this kind of stuff, putting it back. Whereas a person who sanitized and washed their hand before entering the shops was very mindful, not touching, having a look at these kind of stuff. So there was a big lesson learned how easy or how fast society can change if they are personally impacted.
Yes.
Sometimes obviously by law, but nevertheless, a lot of people, they went back, and you have got the conspiracy theories and these things. Once you die, you die. If you are not mindful, there is nobody who literally can really save you. Of course, there is external influence, like the ambulance and surgeries and this kind of stuff. But first of all, it's up to you, the mindfulness by yourself, and everything starts with you.
I think you raised something that I just noticed, and it's very sad. You're very, very correct when you said in restaurants and in other places where they serve food, plastic is now the number one option. It is very sad because now not only the environmental impact is higher, people are getting more used to single-use stuff. So it's convenient. Yes. People would use them even at home when you really don't need to use single-use items. I think it was very insightful, the conversation we had. I've learned few very interesting things. The concept of minimalism that I had was not very complete as the way you put it. It's not just how many items you have, it's more of how you think and how you perceive things. So
yeah, sorry to interrupt you. It's also the people need to understand minimalism is very individual. There is no general rule. Okay, you have to do X, Y, Z. You know, with the 4 squares is just one sample. Shopping, even with the family, without the family, is also another aspect. Of course, an athlete needs different kind of nutrition, more apple, bananas, and these things, rather than another person who sits only in the office or whatever. You know, this is also, again, coming back to the mindfulness and reflection on yourself. You know, I buy my stuff, as I said, in the central market, and I pay maybe 12, maximum 15 BD for all my fruit and vegetables for more than 1 month. You know, and then compare if you go in the supermarket to buy it, the cost is maybe 3-4 times higher. You're supporting the local economy, plus you are more mindful for yourself, and you're creating literally with the saved money some other memories maybe. And it's also exciting maybe even to take the kids. The kids are very smart. You know, we don't need to put them into cotton. I was always out till 10 o'clock evening, you know, even when I was young, and come with dents and scratches and these kind of stuff. This is all reflecting then, okay, this is life. Once you are in a sterilized world and you go out in the, let's say, real world, you will have bigger problems to adapt. So
you cannot live in the real world.
Yeah, we need to adapt to wastage, dirt, and these kind of stuff, you know. And dirt, soil, is not really actually dirt. It's just nature. Reconnect with nature is always one of the biggest aspects I'm emphasizing on, because once you protect nature, you reconnect with nature, nature will take care of you as well.
I think this is a very nice way to conclude our conversation. Thank you very much, Kai. It was very interesting to have this conversation with you. You gave us a lot of food for thought, and I hope the listeners would also be very would take something out of this conversation and implement it in their lives. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And any further questions, they can feel free to contact me. As I said, we do presentations, we do trainings, we do waste audit in order to help the people to understand what they actually producing, what they can reduce, what they can reuse, what they can replace. So, and what they can even donate for recycling, you know, some stuff, resell it even, and these things. So there is a big potential to make your life easier and keep it more simple and more mindful.
Thank you, Kai. I think we can have the contact information of Kai under this video. So thank you very much. This was very